If you ask yourself this one simple question before you take any clients on, it will save you months of wasted efforts. It will give you the kind of leverage your competitors simply can't have. And that question has nothing to do with how you are going to deliver them, how many leads you will get them, and which platform you are going to use. It's this: if you onboard and work with this particular client for the next 6 months, will their bank account look different at the end of it? Because I have done work I was proud of that did not even move the revenue needle, and I have done work that felt boring as hell but made the revenue numbers jump. And for a long time, when a client was struggling, my answer was always used to be the same: that you should do more volume, you should post more content, or you should send more messages. However, that used to work in the past and it does not work anymore, because almost everyone is selling meta ads, LinkedIn content, or maybe personal branding, and these are just channels. Your client simply cares about the output, which is the revenue number, and nobody cares about which system you are going to use and how many hours you are going to put in. They only care about one thing, which is revenue. I used to think effort was the product, that is why I'm charging high. However, no one cares how many hours you are putting in. And the gap between I did a lot of work and the client's bank account change is exactly where most service businesses quietly lose their client after 3 months. So why am I telling you this? The biggest results I have ever produced was with a business coach in a very niche industry. In 6 months, her revenue grew 173%. She went from a handful of leads to between 5 and 8 leads every single day. Her webinars jumped from 10 people to 93 average. Her sales call went from 15 a month to 45 to 55 a month. She even built a paid community past 100 members. And I'm not saying this to flex anything. I'm saying this because of how it actually happened. If you had asked me on day one what I was hired to do, I would have said LinkedIn content and DM management, because that is what was on the invoice. However, if I stuck only to what was on the invoice, none of these big numbers would exist. We did the content and the DMs. It worked for a while. Posts got stronger engagement, inbound leads were coming in, bookings were solid. However, then suddenly everything flattened, because that's the new normal now. One channel only has so much juice in it. Most service businesses at that point go back to the client and try to upsell some new services. I went looking for another channel instead. And every time I found something new, I didn't shut the old one off. I stacked it on top. By month 3 or 4, we still had everything from month 1 plus more. We were putting in the same efforts and spread across multiple channel drivers. And we had around 5 channel drivers. Number 1, content. Number 2, DMs. Number 3, webinars. Number 4, community. Number 5, emails. Talking about content, we didn't post about her processes or frameworks, because that's just not work anymore. Everyone does that and nobody gets the result. Instead, we described the exact problem her ideal clients were facing in their own words. And I call this particular thing as novel content ideas. And you can easily pull them straight from sales calls, recording, and emails you have. Just drop these into the chat GPT to generate novel angles. And we posted 7 times a week and regularly hit over 100,000 impressions per week. Talking about DMs, we were sending only 2 types of DMs. Number 1, follow-up DMs after someone engaged with content. Number 2, relationship DM, which we also call as connection DMs, after someone accepted your connection request. And almost nobody does the second one, because most people treat DMs like a pitch machine. But when someone has already read 3 of your posts, they already know you 50%. Trust is already built there. Then booking the call becomes very easy. Even if they never read your content, let's take a very worst case scenario. A normal conversation about each other's work still moves them closer to booking the call. Just by tracking every single thing daily, how many people are engaging with the content, how many people are coming into the DMs, we were getting around 45 to 55 calls a month. And once the posts were reaching the right people and engagement was consistent, we shifted our energy to webinars. I would rather have 20 people who are ready to buy in one room than run 20 separate calls. In 1 hour, I can sell to a group instead of spending 20 hours and missing half of the closes. A webinar room converts faster than any feed or any one-to-one call. On a feed, you are one voice in a scroll and completely dependent on the algorithm. In a room, you are the only voice and you are controlling the room for the next 45 to 60 minutes. And we went from 10 people on our first webinar to 93 average by her 7th or 8th webinar. And then we had community. In a normal funnel, leads who does not have the budget, they simply get disqualified or they disappeared forever. But if you have a small paid community, it doesn't matter $50 or $100 a month, those same people will stay and you can close them further down the line. In the community, they consume value, they see testimonials, they watch other people winning, and a lot of them converts 3 to 4 months later. And none of these leads get wasted. Then the last piece and the most boring one, which is email. Every lead, every event attendee, every community member goes on a list, and we do not care if someday the LinkedIn algorithm or the Instagram algorithm decided to ban our account, even though we already banned our account twice. And email is the only driver nobody else can switch off. because if you have email, you have everyone's contact details. We simply pulled those email and invited people to the next webinar, or maybe we are running any new sales offer, then we can send them there, or maybe we are doing some discount on a community, then we can send them there as well. And it becomes a continuous loop. So for example, a lead came in from the content, we will try to build the connection, we will book the call, and if they didn't close there, then we will invite them to our webinar. If they still didn't close, bi-weekly emails or weekly emails will keep them warm, and the cycle just keeps repeating until they buy. No single channel is a magic here. Everything works for each other, stacking them on top of each other instead of replacing one with another. There's even a line from Rockefeller's letter to his son that needs this, that your plan should be flexible enough that you can add pieces into it, and it should be rigid enough that you do not quit the moment things get hard. And most people have it backwards, because they are rigid about the plan and flexible about quitting. So if you're currently paying someone to run just one channel for you, ask them a simple question: which revenue drivers are visible right now, and which one are we adding next? If the answer feels bland, you already know what's missing. And if you want me to look at your business and map out the entire client acquisition system which you are not running yet, booking link is right below in the description. You can book a call directly from there. See ya.